Hello everybody, welcome to MyZone Online School. My name is Mr. Mario Tanasio Nanias. Let's welcome our friend Pomwene. Let's not forget to sanitize our hands and put on our mask, observe the distance. And our topic for today is on social health, particularly on substance abuse. As we said, our lesson for today, which is on page 18, it's on substance abuse. Before we go in details of our lesson, let's look at what do we have to know, or what are we expected to know at the end of the day. Learning competencies. We'll be able to describe substance abuse. We'll also be able to identify the health, social, and economic effects of alcohol, tobacco, and drugs on human beings. There are many words that we are going to use in this topic. Let's look at some words that we need to understand. The word abuse. Abuse means to misuse something like drugs or alcohol, meaning that you are overusing more than it was supposed to be done. Economic. Economic only has got to be with money and business matter. When you are talking about economic in this topic, we are going to refer to money and business-related issues. Social. Social is connected with groups of people and their community. When we're talking about social, we're talking about where we live, how everything is in our surrounding. Those are the words that we are going to use in this topic. Okay. Let's start with substance abuse. What is substance abuse? Substance abuse is when a person uses substances such as alcohol, tobacco, or drugs in a way that they are harmful to themselves and the people around them. We are saying that substance abuse is when you as a human being use either alcohol or you use tobacco or you use drugs more than that you're supposed to, until it becomes a danger to yourself or people around you. So before that as well, let's look at what type of substances that we abuse, or we have seen, or we see, or will end up seeing people abusing. We'll have, on page 19, we have a few pictures of some of the substances that can be abused. We have tobacco. Those are cigarettes that we see people smoking. We have alcohol, which can be different types of alcohol. We have beer, we have anything that people drink that is having alcohol. But there are also some other drugs that some of us may be not familiar with. We have cocaine, we have matrax, and cannabis as well. But matrax is some of the pills that people might use, but they are very dangerous, which can affect their health. Other community or other commonly abused solvents, these are the liquids that people may use that can also affect their health. It's glue, benzene, dry cleaning fluid, nail polish remover, and petrol. Those are some of the liquids that people use as solvents when they are using substances. Our lesson continues. We are now on page 20. So we are going to have more details on what happens to our bodies or to our communities or to our economic lives once we start or we are abusing substances. It says, identify the health, social, and economic effects of alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. We are going to look at them one by one in table form. We are starting with health effects. So we're going to look at How does alcohol, how does tobacco, and how does drugs affect your health? We are starting with alcohol. When you abuse alcohol, it normally changes the way you think. Then you realize that when sometimes people get drunk, they start to say things that are not in order. Okay? So even they can greet you 10 times just on the spot because they are not by themselves. Alcohol can also affect your health in a sense that your behavior, you become irresponsible when it comes to behavior. You do things that you're not supposed to do. We have heard of people that were being raped, or somebody fell pregnant because she was drunk, or somebody have raped someone because he was drunk. He couldn't think in a correct way. Okay? It also slows one reactions and leads to poor judgment. So you realize that when some people get drunk, even the way they walk, so the legs look heavy, or sometimes instead of stepping right or front, they start stepping sideways or backward. So it means that now the body is not acting as it should because of alcohol. It affects one's organs and blood circulations. It means that the way that the blood is moving in your body, it goes abnormal. That's why even your temperature normally change when you get drunk. Okay? Another problem is that you can become addicted. And once you come to the point of being addiction, it can be compared to a disease. So you'll be hardly live without it, and it can affect your life every day because you have to drink alcohol every day. That's the side of alcohol in terms of our health. Let's move to tobacco. Tobacco, it says it's very bad for someone's health because it causes the damage to the entire body, especially to the lungs. So the lungs, of somebody who smokes, they change. Every time when you smoke, there's tobacco, it means there's any smoke that is going into your body, and it goes straight to your lungs, and they start burning up your lungs. Okay, and on the other point as well, you can become addicted. As long as you get to the point of addiction, that tobacco will keep on burning up your lungs until it burns up totally to the point where you can have diseases like lung cancer. Drugs. Drugs can cause serious health problems, in some cases even leading to death. Okay? If you overdose pills, if you take pills more than you're supposed to, it means you have heard of people that have died of overdose. It means that you took tablets or you took kind of injections or medications more than you're supposed to. You can die at the spot. It can also cause weakness in the immune system. So meaning that if you are using drugs, your immune system, which was supposed to take care of your body to control everything that happens in your body, it becomes weak. So at that point, you might even suffer from different diseases, both because your body cannot defend itself anymore. It leads to heart abnormal condition, like abnormal heart rate and heart attack. People that use drugs can easily suffer from heart attacks, meaning that your heart is not functioning properly anymore because the pace of how your heart works is being affected by drugs. And then lastly, on drugs, they can destroy your liver. Your liver in your body, once it gets destroyed, it means whatever goes in your body which contains alcohol, it will not get filtered anymore. And then at the end of the day, your liver gets destroyed and you can have cancer or other diseases and you can even die. That's the health part on how alcohol, tobacco, and drugs can affect us as human beings. We are moving to social effects. Social effects is about how us and surrounding we interact and how do we live with our neighbors and the whole community. Let's start with alcohol. We said the social effects of alcohol is that somebody changes the behavior. You realize that we have a very good boy at the young age, and once you start consuming alcohol, they can even start swearing at people. They are using bad languages because alcohol have changed their behavior. They become aggressive. So these people cannot even play with them. Sometimes just a simple, peaceful touch on their body, they can even punch you or insult you or take stones to hit you. So it's because that's what alcohol does to us. It means that we are not going to have peace with our friends anymore. Another point is that one can still to pay for more alcohol. Once you get addicted, you can't live without alcohol anymore. And if you don't have money, you have to go and steal. And we know that stealing is not one of the things that we should do because of how it will affect us. Okay? Underage drinking can cause problems at school. Once you're a child, like from when he starts drinking, so when he go to school, he might end up fighting with his friends, classmates, swearing at teachers, and everybody there. So once you start drinking while you are even young, it's even worse compared to somebody who is older. If you are working and you like drinking alcohol, you'll end up losing your job and can even lead to breakdown of the family. So when you're drunk every day, your boss or your manager or whoever is supervising, you might think that no, it's enough with you, because even if you come to work, it doesn't serve any purpose, because you can't do anything looking at the health factors because your body is weak, or you just don't have energy, or you can't just control your behavior. So you end up losing your job. And then if you lose your job, there's nobody to support the family anymore. You realize that people are moving out of their house to any place that can help their lives. How does tobacco affect our social living or our social health? It said that tension in the family, you are always lying trying to hide the smell. So when you smoke, you come home, you try to eat sweets. Okay, that's what normally happens. When your father smokes, or your mother smokes, or your brother or sister smokes, when they're coming home, they try to eat sweets to make sure that that smell of tobacco disappears. And then, because of that, when they ask if you smoke or not, you will end up arguing, or you will end up having misunderstandings in the family. So, it also have bad breath, dull skin, and smelly hair. So meaning that when you smoke, that smell of cigarette, it remains on everything of yours, your hair, your hands, your clothes. So you smell everywhere. And then sometimes people might not like that smell of cigarettes or tobacco. It can also lead to punishment at school. If you go to school and you smoke, you might hear that your teachers are saying, because of this or because you smoke, we are going to punish you in this way. Let's look at drugs. People that abuse drugs, how are they behaving in our societies? They still to pay for drugs. So somebody has to steal money so that they can buy those drugs. They also, if you are underage, you can also lose control. You can even kill somebody. You can also do unnecessary things because you are not on your own. And then you might affect people that are living around you, your sisters or your neighbors and everybody in your location or your village. Okay, your schoolwork go down. It means that you don't perform anymore because your brain cannot function properly. So your schoolwork start to go down. If you are getting A's, you'll end up getting E's, F, G, and U's and those symbols. Family conflict or breakup. So most of the families in our country have broken up because of drugs. The father comes home, or the mother comes home after consuming drugs, and there's a misunderstanding, there are fights, and then at the end of the day, they end up breaking their relationship. They all go separate ways. We are continuing on page 21 on the economic effects, which says, how does drugs, tobacco, and alcohol affect us in terms of economics or money? Let's start with alcohol. Addiction influences the ability to work well, thus one can lose his or her job. When you're abusing alcohol, your judgment, your thinking, your behavior, everything change. And then you'll end up being fired or losing your job. And then once you lose your job, you're not going to have incomes anymore. You are not going to have a salary anymore. So because of that, you are going to be broke because there's nothing supporting your life as far as money is concerned. It also goes to the health system. So when people are consuming or abusing alcohol, a lot of diseases are going to happen. They are going through or going to suffer from different diseases. And now they are going to go to hospitals now and then just to buy medicine or medications to support their health. So it means that it's going to be very, very costly for you to go to the hospital every day and pay for the medications. Money is spent in alcohol instead of food. So imagine that your father works or your mother works, but every month instead of coming home with food, doing shopping, they're just going to buy alcohol. So you have nothing to eat at home. That's one of the reasons why it's not good to use alcohol as far as money is concerned. Let's look at tobacco. How does tobacco affect our financial life? Addiction influences the ability to work well. Thus, one can lose one's job as well. The same as alcohol, if you are smoking, you might get addicted. Sometimes, while you're supposed to be at work, you have to sneak in and go smoke. And then by then, your supervisor or your boss or whoever is in charge will start complaining that you are missing from work, and they'll end up firing you. Goes to the health system as well. So we have learned, or we have heard that some of the diseases, like for example, cancer, the medications are very expensive. So if you are smoking, you might suffer from lung cancer, and then at the end of the day, you need a lot of money to have right medications. Sometimes you even need surgery, and sometimes become very, very costly. You might go to other countries or other continents for surgery or for operations, which is very, very expensive. Money is spent on alcohol. Money is spent in tobacco instead of food. So instead of our parents or our brothers and sisters buying food for us to eat, they're just going to buy tobacco. So imagine that every time they say that people that smoke don't keep money, because now and then they need to buy tobacco for them to smoke. So it means they're going to be broke every day. Lastly, let's look at drugs. How do drugs affect our financial situation? Addiction influences the ability to work well. Thus, one can lose the job as well. All of them, either it's alcohol, or it's tobacco, or it's drugs. Once you become addicted, you lose your job. And once you lose your job, you're not going to have a salary at the end of the month, or whenever you get paid, you're not going to have money anymore. It's also called the health system. It means that a lot of money will be spent on our health. Okay? Imagine that you are working, but every day you have to go to the hospital. You take a taxi, or maybe you have a car, you fuel up your car every day. When you go to the hospital, you have to pay. It means that instead of now using that money for something better, you are just spending it in your health. Money is spent in drugs instead of food. So people are just going to buy drugs. They are not going to pay for your school fees. They are not going to pay for your transport to go to school. They are not going to buy you anything. Whatever you need at school as a child, your parents, your brothers, or whoever is taking care of you will not be able to support, because they only have money to buy the drugs. I hope you have been listening, and then you understand what we have discussed. The last part, we are looking at assessments. Okay? Let's see if we have understood what we have discussed here. Question 1. We want you to describe what it means by substance abuse. If somebody say substance abuse, what do they really mean? That's question 1. Question 2. We are going to identify and name one effect that the abuse of substances has on a person. We are saying health, social relationships, education, they are all going to be affected if we abuse substances. What do we want you to do? On health, you mention one, either whatever you think is right for you to mention there, and explain how does it affect in terms of health. You do the same thing on A, you do the same thing on B, you do the same thing on C. You just identify them and explain how do they affect the life of people and those ones that are living with. We thank you. Let's not forget to sanitize our hands. We keep our mask on and our distance as well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
What is social distancing? Hi everyone, I am Zoshi, and I'm back. It literally just means that you need to stay home all the time and keep away from crowded places. And remember to keep your distance from your friends too. Everybody stay safe. Yay! Till next time. Bye!
The coronavirus that causes COVID-19 has changed since the pandemic started. So does this mean the virus has become more dangerous? Scientists have discovered thousands of mutations to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. Most mutations only lead to small changes, but scientists believe one, called D614G, may have made it easier for the virus to infect human cells. This mutation most likely emerged after the initial outbreak in China, and it spread fast after the virus arrived in Europe. By the end of June, the D614G mutation was found in almost all samples of the virus worldwide. Scientists believe this is due to amino acid changes in the virus's spike proteins, improving its ability to infect human cells. Some studies have found more spikes on viruses with this mutation. These spikes latch onto receptors on the surface of our cells. They then transfer the virus's genetic material, called RNA, inside. Being inside the host cell allows the virus to make many copies of itself. Random errors sometimes happen in the copying process, which cause mutations. Although the full effects of D614G are still unclear, some studies suggest that the mutated virus might be more transmissible than the original. This could mean more people getting sick and at a faster rate. Despite this, there isn't any evidence that the disease itself has become more severe. Scientists are worried about mutations possibly increasing the risk of reinfection. Hong Kong reported what could be the first case of virus reinfection on the 24th of August. A healthy man in his 30s is thought to have caught the virus again 4.5 months after he first got sick. During this time, mutations developed and new variants of the virus emerged. Some experts believe these changes may have made reinfections more likely. Mutations are common over the course of a pandemic. New flu vaccines are needed every winter to keep up with genetic changes to the flu virus. If a coronavirus vaccine is found, it could require regular booster jabs. Mutations won't happen overnight, and the coronavirus is mutating slower than the flu virus. But it's important for scientists to keep a close eye on how the virus changes over time. Could we be hearing more about other mutations in the future?
Hi Namibia, I'm Sister Hulda Navasis, a registered nurse currently working at Namibian Oncology Center, Windhoek. I'm here to encourage each and every Namibian to stay home in order to slow the spread of the 2019 novel coronavirus. Physical distancing is very important. We will still be socially connected. Therefore, my people, be part of the solution. Stay home.
We know the world is a crazy place right now, but don't panic. Take a breath. Slow down. Or better yet, stop completely. We'll still be here when everything settles down. In this time of uncertainty, look to nature. She has all the answers, you know. We're not only giving ourselves time to reset, we're giving nature time to restore, revive, restart. We're saving ourselves and we're saving the world. Stay home now, so that we can welcome you to Namibia again soon. Yes, the world's a crazy place right now, but don't despair. Find the joy, cherish hope, breathe. Take a moment, take a few, and someday soon you'll once again be able to stare in wonder at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
At this point, I would like to indicate that we are only going to take the religions that believe in God, or any God for this matter, into account, as theology means the study of God and of God's relation to the world.
Okay, I would like to move on to my first point. Like my first speaker said, preaching is like a profession
Point
because...
of information.
Yes.
Yeah. There's that Bushiri, I don't know if you heard of him, and he's also a qualified theologist, and he also takes advantage of the people's vulnerability.
And then 15,000 of the people are coming to live in Africa just because they are building a road for you. We don't have the knowledge to maintain that infrastructure. And now they're just gaining citizenship because they're here for a long time. If you live here for 15 years building a road, of course you can get citizenship. And now there's a land crisis in Africa. Where will Africans live? I am sorry for my continent.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up and take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day.